At that time, Liu Yao's father was Lu Xinyan, the richest man in the imperial capital, and I was just an illegitimate child. She looked down on my background and went abroad with another man, Fu Nancheng said. He answered the question. Zhuxi didn't expect this to happen. Liu Yao actually despised the birth of his illegitimate child. In fact, Zhuxi really wanted to ask another question, which was who was Liu Yao dating? Liu Yao has been spoiled since she was a child, and she is arrogant and proud. Which man does she like? But Zhuxi didn't dare to ask. She said, "Oh, I told you so much and you only said one sentence?" Fu Nancheng looked at her and laughed angrily. In short, I thought he had broken off his engagement and went to Yecheng as the old woman wished. Back then, Xiaxi took a liking to Fu Nancheng among all the sons in the imperial capital and raised him personally. However, later on, he was rejected by his own daughter. As a mother, Xiaxi had already chosen a husband for her daughter before leaving. As long as Liu Yao didn't act up, it would be enough for her to live a glorious life. Parents who love their children will always plan for them in the long run. Xiaxi really loves her daughter. Who knew that I would meet a girl like you on that trip, making me unable to stop? Zhuxi didn't take up the topic. She was about to stand up and said, I'll get you a basin of water to clean it up. But Fu Nancheng grabbed her slender wrist and stopped her from leaving. In the past in Yecheng, whenever he said this, he wanted to hear her say that she missed him. Zhuxi, you really don't have anything else to say to me? No, let me go first. Zhuxi broke free from him and walked into the bathroom. Forget it. She will only suffer if she stays with me. What right do I have to let her stay with me? Looking at her pretty figure, Fu Nancheng rolled his Adam's apple. Actually, he was also afraid of wronging her, so I kept testing him, but didn't say anything. You can't take a bath now. You can only wipe your body with a wet towel. Zhuxi brought a basin of hot water and helped him wipe his upper body. But how do I wipe it? Fu Nancheng leaned lazily against the head of the bed and glanced at her with his narrow eyes full of charm. I can't do it alone. Please help me again. Zhuxi took a quick look at his muscular chest and immediately looked away, like a frightened little rabbit. Where's your other hand? Can't move it either. This is the first and last time. There will be no next time. Zhuxi held the towel and tried to keep her fingers away from him, not daring to touch his body. After wiping it around, her little face was already bright red. This was really too hard to bear. She was a normal person, and she didn't know where to put her eyes when she saw this extremely handsome man's figure. At this time, it rubbed his chest, and the man suddenly spoke, his voice completely hoarse. Zhuxi, why is your face so red? Hot. She complained of heat in the middle of winter, and Fu Nancheng curled his thin lips. It's really hot from the beginning. At this moment, Zhuxi realized something. Wait, maybe he could have a fever or infection. So hot! Why is it so hot? Do you have a fever? I'll find you some medicine. After saying that, she turned and left. Don't go! Fu Nancheng grabbed her slender arm and gently pulled it, and her delicate body fell directly into his arms. Zhuxi struggled. Fu Nancheng, let go! You need to take medicine first. I don't want it. Zhuxi, I've been holding it in, and it is so painful. Through the thin clothes, Zhuxi could already feel his body temperature, which was as hot as a branding iron. Her muscles were tense. Fu Nancheng straightened her body. The corners of his narrow eyes were full of lustful red bloodshot. This is burnt out. This is so serious, but he can still pretend nothing happened. Fu Nancheng looked at her bright red lips. She thought about it, but she had no choice. Fu Nancheng lowered his head and kissed her alluring red lips. The clean and refreshing smell from the man, along with the faint smell of disinfectant, was overwhelming. He kissed her passionately, tossing and turning her red lips as if to conquer her. Zhuxi held her hand against him but didn't dare to use force for fear of touching his wound. No, he is still injured. His wound cannot be touched. Fu Nancheng. Zhuxi whined twice and put her small hands on his handsome shoulders to push him away. The lights above her head became blurred in her vision, and Zhuxi's body softened. The two of them had been separated for so long that she could not remember the last time they kissed. When he kissed her, she became as soft as water. The corners of his narrow eyes were full of lustful red bloodshot. "Do you know what you're doing? You are mine. Don't let anyone touch you." Fu Nancheng straightened her body, then turned over and pressed her down. Fu Nancheng looked at the girl under him, her pure blonde hair scattered and her right cheek still red from being hit, making her look more delicate and fragile. Fu Nancheng knew that she was still angry that he chose Lu Yao at the critical moment. He really had no choice but to choose Lu Yao, as she was his master's daughter, but no one knew how scared he was at that time. He spoke in a hoarse voice, feeling sorry for her. "I'm so scared today, Zhuxi. You can only be with me. I will protect you." "What nonsense are you talking about? Wake up, we can't do this, you and Lu Yao." His hands were shaking at the time, and all he could think about was what would happen if he had arrived a step later. Seeing that she stopped talking, Fu Nancheng conceded that she was in the wrong. He lowered his head and kissed her red lips fiercely. Fu Nancheng licked his dry lips and stared at her with a scorching and cruel gaze. "I don't want Lu Yao, I only want you." He seemed to have left his own mark on her body. Even though she was reluctant in her heart, her body loved his touch and intimacy. Zhuxi felt that she had become a dishonest woman. She kept saying no with her mouth, but her body was extremely honest. The girl on his body became increasingly blurred in his sight. His big hands fell down weakly. He closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. "Just want you." Zhuxi looked at him and said softly, "I just pretended I didn't hear anything. Anyway, we all know that when you come to your senses, these words will not count." After saying that, she got out of bed, took out her cell phone from her bag, and made a call. "He is a man who honors his promises, and I will never be the third wheel. Break up now, it's better for everyone." Nancheng. Very dizzy, very hot too." "Is it her?" Fu Nancheng took a nap, then slowly opened his eyes. He was still in this house, still on this bed. What just happened? Why did he suddenly fall asleep? At this time, a pleasant female voice came to my ears. Fu Nancheng turned his head and saw Lu Yao. Lu Yao actually came. "Why are you here?" he asked in a hoarse voice. "Never mind, I get it." Fu Nancheng paused for a moment, then looked away and looked around the room. The slender figure had disappeared, replaced by Lu Yao. "It must be her. Not only does she not want to stay, she also wants to push me to Lu Yao." Fu Nancheng looked at the ceiling above his head. He was not stupid, so he immediately guessed what had happened. She left, and before leaving, she considerately called Lu Yao for him. "Oh." Fu Nancheng curled his thin lips and sneered. "How cruel." "Nancheng, of course I am here to protect you and save you. Although I don't know why the receptionist called me, but isn't this a good opportunity to solve the problem? God really helped me." Lu Yao looked at the wound on his body. Now Lu Yao had also gotten on the bed and was lying beside him, her beautiful eyes looking at him with concern. Next episode preview. Where have you seen the same bell? At this moment, Mr. Zhang suddenly said, "Oh," as if he had thought of something. "Oh, you know the man with the bell too. Didn't you just lead a team with him overseas? That's your senior Fu. What? Does he have a pair of bell bracelets?" "What? Fu Nancheng?" Zhuxi paused. Fu Nancheng, he has the same bell bracelet as hers? How is that possible? His letter was in the same shape as this one, so they must have come from the same place. I can't tell where exactly, but you'll know if you ask him.